Hello everybody. In today's video, we are talking about Hans Christian Pookie Reid and Foodie Beauty. So Hans Christian Pookie Reid, Amber Reid, has been gone from YouTube for a while, and what's happening is that she's continuing to post on the internet, even though she promised. She said, I'm leaving the internet. I'm not going to be on any social medias. Last time we talked about how she actually gave Foodie Beauty $20 for her Canada scam. And even though Foodie Beauty really doesn't like you, Pookie Lynn Reid, but okay. So we're also going to talk about Foodie Beauty's GoFundMe being taken down. A stunning turn of events, I tell you. And basically how both of these people, Amber and Chantal, are scamming you. As always, everything I'm saying is just for entertainment purposes only. Please don't take anything I say seriously. I'm sharing my own opinions, not facts, on publicly accessible information, first made public by public figures. Please don't go to these people's channels and leave mean-spirited negative comments. Entertainment purposes only. Let's talk about Hans Christian Pookie Reid. So she's been gone almost a month, as she said that she would be gone. Remember, she said she was going to be gone, right? She's not going to be on Instagram. She's not going to be on social media. She's not going to be on TikTok. She's not going to be on YouTube. And that was a blatant lie, as we have been discussing in the last few weeks. She gave Foodie Beauty the $20. She's obviously watching every single thing that's happening. Now, again, more lies. You go to Amber's TikTok, she's massively reposting things, right? Recently, she's reposted whether it's both with an L or both. That's what she's doing with her time. See, she's so busy on her break. That's what you're doing with your time, reposting whether it's both or both. The point is, I don't care if she goes away on vacation. I don't care if she never comes back. Notice I'm not asking her to come back or anything like that. The issue is you clearly, blatantly continue to lie into your audience's face, as we've been talking about. She said she's not going to be on Instagram or TikTok. She's reposting. By the way, one word about reposting. Reposting, like, I'm not saying it's hard to repost anything on TikTok, but it takes action and effort. You actually have to go hit this button, hit that button. You have to hit repost. She knows that people will see what she's reposting, and she doesn't care that she's lied to you. So she's in foodie stream. She's on Instagram. She's on TikTok, reposting blatantly in your face. And let's talk about the scam. People are paying $4.99 a month to be a Stream Queen Mini for her membership, or $9.99 a month, that means $10. This is a math channel, people, to be a Stream Queen. And she has not provided any content and has not said a single word, nothing on, like, where's any updates? See, here's the thing, okay? I understand that she told us that she was taking a break. So I'm not here to say, oh, she should really keep up with her audience, whatever. I still think that even when you're on a break, it wouldn't hurt to be a decent person and to like still communicate with your audience and the community page or anything like that. And I'm not a member of hers, so maybe she has posted just like a little note here and there to members only. But here's why this is a scam. Why are people paying you $10 or $5 a month for you not to provide any content? If you look at any membership agreement, it says that when YouTubers have members, they have to provide something in exchange for the money. And this woman promised to go live twice a week. Never mind, because do not get me started. I'm already started on this, where she scammed her audience repeatedly by changing the contract. First, she was live streaming on Sundays, then on Tuesdays, then on Sundays and Tuesdays, then on any day. The point is, you can't keep doing that, but at least she was providing something in exchange for a fee. She has not provided a single live stream for a month. This is a scam. This is another reason why it's so easy for her to leave for a month, because she'll make at least $1,000 to $3,000 doing nothing. And listen, the people that want to pay her, it's the same idea as the people that want to pay Chantal. You're doing it to yourself. At this point, you only have yourself to blame. But here's the thing. At least Chantal is constantly in interaction with her audience, while Amber is not. Okay. I know you don't like your audience. I know you want to get a different job, but you can't do any other job. You'll get fired because you won't show up like you used to run away from your other jobs and spend the majority of the time. Go Google, go look up Amberlynn working. She would spend the majority of the time in the bathroom hiding. Oh, my foot hurts. My Kermit hurts. I don't care. Here's the bottom line. This is a scam that she is participating in. I am not allowed to tell you to report her, so don't report her. But my opinion is this is beyond a scam. How are you going to leave without turning off your memberships? I'll tell you why she didn't turn off her memberships. Because she needed to scam you out of money. This is not the first time this woman has scammed you out of money. She sold used earrings and said that they were new and actually called it an earring business. That's really embarrassing. She had a giveaway like at the very beginning of when she started getting popular, and the person, I believe, never got their stuff. The bottom line in the situation is this is the definition of a scam, a dishonest way to make money where you're deceiving people. I know that she told people she was leaving, but she should not be able to collect money in exchange for not providing any perks during the month. This is a scam. So before we get to Chantal, I wanted to talk about a concept. So in my last video, we had discussed how Amber's donating money to Chantal. Chantal is not Amber's friend. And somebody had commented that. They said, when I watched Amber give Chantal money, I couldn't believe it. Like, Chantal said she doesn't like you. I was going to respond to that person, personally, because it's a vocabulary channel. But I decided to say it publicly. Look, well, to everybody, because sometimes not everybody reads my responses to, the comments. All right. If you have a friend, this is my opinion. If you have a friend, and I wanted to tell you that this is very difficult, in my opinion, to accept. So I get it. It's very difficult to accept. Sometimes it takes a long time to accept. And then on top of that, the problem is I don't want to say this, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you. There are exceptions to what I'm about to say, but they're rare. But they do exist, but they're rare, okay? Basically, in general, if you have a friend who tells you that they like you, but then act like they don't, or tell you that they don't, they don't. If you have a friend who basically is positive and negative towards you, the negativity is the truthful answer. And this is so difficult to accept. It is. It's so hard to accept. It sometimes is never accepted. And I get why. Because, okay, the idea is people are not one dimensional. And sometimes, I'm not talking about when friends get into arguments or petty stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how when you have a friend that continuously shows you that they don't like you or tells you that, and then they show you that they like you. I'm going to use Chantal and Amber as an example. So obviously, Amber knows, I guarantee you that she knows because she watches Chantal all the time, that Chantal has extensively this past year been on Amber's side. So she was on Amber's side with Beck, with Valentine, with Tommy, with Tammy, with everyone that spoke out against Amber. Chantal is on, Amber's side. And if you've been watching my channel, sometimes we talk about what Chantal says.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Amberlynn. Another fake.
Nurse, clear my schedule.
But ultimately, when Amber did something bad to Chantal, Chantal's answer wasn't, I'm so shocked at you, Amber. I can't believe you did this. I feel so betrayed by my friend, which would be, this is the interesting part, or at least I think so. That would be the response of a friend that genuinely likes Amber, right? If you genuinely love your friend and you genuinely truly liked your friend and they betray you, you're in shock, right? But Chantal wasn't in shock. She said, now I see what everybody is saying about you, and I don't like Amber at all. That's what she said, that I don't like Amber at all. So the point is, when Amber betrayed Chantal, she wasn't in shock because she already didn't like her and she expected it from her. My point is, no matter how much your friend tells you that they love you and they're really your friend, it's always their actions that are going to, match their actions to what they say. Do they match? Okay. Anyone can tell you, I love you. Anyone can tell you, 17 Kermits, whatever. The point is, do their actions match up to what they're saying? And you can use this. This is a very basic concept. I'm sure most of you know it. Like, use that concept with, partners and whoever. The point is, if your friend is showing you positivity, but showed you enough negativity in the past, the negativity is the truthful part, usually. Chantal has been supportive of Amber these last few years, right? But the problem is, you already told us what you feel like. You told us you see why everybody's saying she's a pathological liar. You started also, this never gets talked about, okay? This doesn't get talked about, but it's the little things that make up the big things. What do I mean? One of the things that Chantal said about Amber in the past is, oh, go buy another journal and, you're this and that. And, something about the chicken sausages. Listen, I'm afraid of chickens. They're very loud. Never mind. The point is this. Why would she pick on small little things? Like she would talk about her stickers that Amber would, I guess, collected stickers and journals. Look, this is so petty. Who cares about this? It's because, listen to this. It's because Chantal always thought that it was silly and dumb that Amber was, collecting stickers and getting journals. She always thought that that was childish and, thought negatively about that. That's why she brought it out. Listen, okay? People don't magically get these negative thoughts about you when you have a fight. They've always had them. Point is, if your friend shows you a lot of negativity and a lot of positivity, the negativity is the truthful one. Beware and take care of yourself in the relationship. And by the way, this is also never talked about. How about you put yourself first? In relationships, people like to tell other people, oh, you're very selfish. You only care about yourself. This is how I feel about this. I'm not saying it's good to be selfish. You shouldn't be selfish, blah, 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 blah. But probably most people are not going to say this publicly, but I'll tell you this. Yeah, be selfish. Think about yourself first. I don't mean be Amber, Hans Christian, Pookie Reed. I don't mean be a narcissist and, ruin people's lives and, never consider their feelings. I don't mean that. But in relationships, here's a wild idea. If you don't take care of yourself and you don't think about yourself, the other person, if they're not, then who will? This relationship good for you? Amber, if you think that the relationship that you have with Chantal is good for you, you're Delulu. You both both don't like each other. You don't. And everything she has shown us screams that she never liked you to begin with. This is my opinion. You know how much I love Hans Christian Pookie Reed. I think Chantal was always jealous of her. And that goes back to that video that we briefly talked about in my last video, where I talked about how, by the way, I'm going to link the video down below. Go and watch it if you want, okay? It's where Chantal was talking about scooters. I'd never use a scooter. And she was only, at that point, Amber was very famous for using a scooter. She was talking about Amber. She was always jealous. Okay, and again, I love Hans Christian Pookie Reed. For me to say that, I think it's really true. Chantal, you were always jealous of Amber, and it was obvious. Not of the scooter thing. Okay, you said that because because you didn't like her. She was jealous of the views that Amber got. She was jealous of the money that Amber got. I'll tell you this: if Chantal was making the money that Amber makes, she would not be doing the GoFundMe. Maybe she would. Scammer is a scammer. Here's the thing. Something for Amber to think about because she doesn't watch my videos, so she'll never hear this. How lucky are we? If your friend is jealous of you, that's not friendship. Moving on to Foodie Beauty. Foodie Beauty's GoFundMe scam was taken down. All right, so the GoFundMe was taken down. I was given a reason, which I will keep to myself. Of course you will, because you're a deceiver. But people mass reported it basically. I was also advised that everyone who donated will be fully refunded within 3 to 7 days. I will still try and raise as much as I can to shut over in Canada. So here's the thing. A GoFundMe can be taken down for various reasons, but fraud and misuse of funds, this is one of the most common reasons for a campaign to be taken down. So here's the thing. The reason that your Canada thing is a scam is because you are going to come back and you're going to continue to visit him. You will never, I promise you, this woman will never, ever, ever let him go. And I want to tell you something. There is definitely something going on here. And so I have $2,000 raised so far. So a big thank you to you guys. The people that are giving her this money, you have absolutely no idea how badly she's scamming you. And by the time you understand, it's going to be too late. This is a big help. We are 1/5 of the way there. Yeah, she's trying to get $10,000. She's looking for a good bees pad. Okay. So now look, the other day, She made a live stream. She was very smug and, she's a scammer. She basically was saying that, listen to this, her and Salah and family members of Salah, supposedly, or people, who cares, whoever's there, are all going away for the weekend. And she's so happy they're getting away and all this other stuff. Now, look, I don't care who comes here and says that y'all were very amicable in your divorce, in your relationship ending. Nobody goes away for the weekend with a person that they're divorcing. And I don't care if people have done it before. In this particular case, okay, there is something very suspicious going on. Look, there's a very basic principle in life. It's called the most simplest answer is true. This woman is not really separating from Salah. She's a bad liar because you can see it. Like, look, she is in very outrageous, weird, positive spirits. I have not seen her this happy since she lived in Canada. Why is she so happy? Do you really think she's so happy because she's raising money to go to Canada? She's so happy because she has scammed people to go to Canada. She will be back. I'm telling you, obviously, if it doesn't make sense, what is your feeling on this when you see how happy she is? Why is she the happiest she's ever been? Look, they're not really breaking up. I'm telling you, I can feel it. They're not breaking up. She will be back. She's just getting her audience to pay for her typical yearly October ticket because she goes to Canada every October for Halloween. She wasn't able to celebrate Halloween. She's all smoke and mirrors. She's pretending to be religious and pious. I am telling you this right now. The way that she is acting is a blatant lie. The most obvious answer is true. She's going away for the weekend with Salah. They've gotten more closer since she's supposedly breaking up with him. Oh, she's saying she's trying to salvage and trying to get the most out of being in Syria this last weekend. Don't you see it? Listen, this is the best advice I can give you. See it for what it is, not what you want it to be. She 150%, 150% is going to stay with him. She's just going to get people. This is the scam. She's lying to you and saying, hey, I'm moving to Canada permanently. Me and Salah are breaking up. Everybody wants her and Salah to break up, and everybody wants her to move to Canada. She's blatantly lying to you. How do I know that? She's in too good of spirits of breaking up with a guy. She's obsessed with being with men. She gets her only validation from being married or having a boyfriend. This doesn't make sense. No one is this happy. Nobody goes away on a weekend when they're breaking up with their husband. No. No. She's scamming you. She's going to go to Canada for a little bit and then she'll return. And then all the people that I'll tell you something, Chantal, once people see that you return, they'll never pay for your ticket to Canada again. So you better make it good in Canada, whatever you're doing there, because you're never returning on somebody else's dime, you scammer. Okay, so Foodie Beauty's community page posts. This is about the child that she raised money for. One of the biggest reasons why people understand that her Canada thing is a scam, that she's raising money to go to Canada as a scam, is because she scammed people before. She said that she was raising money for a child, right? That was supposedly part of Salah's family. She says this stuff. I don't believe anything that she says. Also, people feel the GoFundMe is a scam because remember this, we talked about this in the other video. Chantal asked for money for this child, and when she raised money for this child's education and whatnot, she, by magic, love it when magic gets involved, get your own channel magic, she went on a trip to Qatar with air conditioning in a nice hotel room with amazing food. The point of the story is she clearly didn't have the money to travel to Qatar and get air conditioning in a hotel room with food without this fundraiser that was supposed to be for this kid, okay? That's what this conversation's about. Where are the receipts for the child that she raised money for? First off, anyone who didn't give a dime can do this. Okay, first of all, that's not the way that scams work. People that are allowed to talk about somebody scamming somebody else out of money didn't have to donate to call it a scam. Okay. Second, she's in school. I've posted receipts of her in school. The money was given to her parents. I'm not posting receipts of how much they paid for school, transport, etc., so that her school can be doxxed, so that the reaction channels can make more content about it even more. Chantal, the reason that reaction channels are talking about you, if you don't understand, is because I totally get that you and Amber believe that you are smarter than the audience. I get that. It's just not true. The issue here is that how can you really believe that other people that are watching this and also the people that are donating don't understand that you didn't have the money to go to Qatar? And then you did because you took a portion of the money that was donated to this child for yourself. How can you not understand that people will see that? The serious question to Chantal. People see you for who you are. It is my channel and she is family. Of course she is. And if I want to post a pic update with her and her parents, okay, permission, I can do what I want. Don't like the attitude of this post? Oh, well, doesn't matter, Chantal. Without an audience, let me tell you something. This isn't even about Chantal. So obviously she's ungrateful, blah, 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 blah. But all of us are nothing without our audience. Without our audience, this is how it works on YouTube. Without our audience watching our videos, we don't get paid. If you don't watch, we don't get paid. You are incredibly ungrateful, Chantal. And when you eventually do lose your channel, I don't know what's going to happen to you. Because if you don't know, Chantal did lose her channel for doing like the worst possible thing that you can imagine on her channel. Wonderful. What's next for you? Foodie Beauty and Sass is coming back soon. Haters swear 1 minute they demand receipts on the child, and the next day freak if I post an update of her in school. Now that is the last of it I will address. No, it's not. I raise money for her special private school, for her clothes, transport, and help with her family. Thank you to the kind people for making a difference in her and her family's lives. I posted proof she was in school. Listen, Chantal, do you really not understand like what people are saying? Nobody is doubting that the child is in school. People doubt that you gave her and her family all of the money. Do you not understand that? If that's not good enough, that's too bad. And if you think for a second we would scam literal family we are with almost every day, and you know what else you can do? Anyway, I've addressed this enough, so that's it. Moving on. People freaking over $1,000 to help a child and her family is sick. Stay away from me. So people are upset one more time because it was clear that you didn't post receipts of giving her the money. That's A. But I don't even care about that because I know you're a scam. Girl, bye. Okay, I don't care. For me, it's obvious that if you didn't have the money to go to Qatar, and then you suddenly had the money to do all these nice things to get AC, blah, 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 after this fundraiser, that you took a portion of it. And that's what you always do in these scams, which is why it's called a scam. By the way, the most important thing here is this. When you do get to Canada, you still won't be happy. I just, it has to be said. You know how I know that? Because I could tell. When a person isn't happy, you could always, always, always tell, especially if they're on camera. It's very obvious because it's something in their eyes. It's just not, it's just, you're never going to be happy in Canada. You won't be happy in Kuwait. You won't be happy in Syria. And here's why. Because that's an inside job. It's not, oh, you find a nice guy. You think you're going to find, I'm sorry, going on a tangent. You think you're going to find a boyfriend soon in Canada? No, you won't. And by the way, even if you do, you still won't be happy because eventually you'll ruin that relationship. All your scams are coming back to roost like a Kermit at the Kentucky Derby. Okay, so let's talk about the scam part. Sorry, but most of girl world needs this also. The very definition of a scam, if people send me money to move to Canada and I keep their money and don't move to Canada, then yes, that would be a scam, but I'm still moving to Canada. So until it happens that I don't, just that statement in and of itself is very suspicious. The thing about our girls is that they always tell on themselves. So the issue here is very simple. You have scammed your audience before, as I've talked about in my other videos. What I mean by that is you have done fundraisers for a child, you've done fundraisers for a kitten, you've done fundraisers for whatever, and then you clearly take a portion of that money for yourself. That is why all of your crowdfunding and collecting money from your audience is a scam. If you say that you are taking money or collecting money to do one thing, then it is your responsibility not to take some of this money and use it for something to another thing. Like for example, I'm getting all of this money for this kid, and then, I'm going to use a bunch of it to go to Qatar. Here's the thing. I've said this before. She knows that people have a disdain for her and will not donate just in general for her. Now, the thing with Canada is a little bit different. People are obsessed with her going to Canada because she's vulnerable there and there's better content. Like, in my opinion, everybody always knew like what was going on in your relationship, and people are just genuinely interested in you no longer being with him. So that's why they are still donating. But you have such a wonderful fan base. Of course, they're going to report you for a scam, because it is. Now, listen to this next part. Talk about giving yourself away. Even if something happens and I don't move, which will not happen, all of the money would be refunded. You can't preemptively call something a scam when the plan hasn't even happened. LOL, LOL. And then she gives the definition of a scam. So here's the thing, okay? You know what we'll do? This is a vocabulary channel, so I think it's great to read out the definition of words. A scam is a dishonest scheme to gain money or possessions from someone fraudulently, especially a complex or prolonged one. So this is a scam, and here's how. First of all, she's already giving herself away by letting you know that just in case she changes her mind, but that won't happen. She literally, as Hans Christian Pookie Reid would say, literally changes her mind all the time. Remember what Chantal said? It's not lying, it's just changing my mind. Chantal, you change your mind about quitting YouTube 17 times and then say, I'm impulsive. I'm just impulsive. You're not impulsive, okay? You're not impulsive. That's not why you're changing your mind, by the way, but moving on. Here's the point. She already told you that there's a chance that she will change her mind. And if that happens, you'll get your money back from GoFundMe, right? This was, of course, before her GoFundMe was taken down. But here's the point. The reason why this is a dishonest scheme is because I don't believe in my heart of hearts. Like, if you want my gut reaction, which I'm assuming you want, first of all, I don't care. That's always my response. But since you really probably want me to answer, or you're looking for what I think, which I don't know why, I have a Kermit, but whatever. I think that she's going to realize how difficult it is to be without a guy. For her, not in general. She can't be without a man. She's going to see she's not going to get a boyfriend. She's going to run back there and visit him. The point is, you are saying, I am moving to Canada, period. I am not returning. And that, I do not see that as being true. I do not see that being true. Let's take a look at the reasons that she ran back to Canada before. I think there was a situation where she ran back to Canada because FFG dared to go into the store that she went into. Okay. Then another time she ran back to Canada because she was doxxed. Then another time she ran back to her, Syria or wherever because she was doxxed. These are not reasons to leave a country, okay? Here's a reason to leave a country. You become a fugitive. Of course she left that country. That could be understood that, she ran away because she was an illegal fugitive, whatever the situation was happening. She had broken the law in Kuwait. My point here is this. You're telling us that you're collecting money to permanently move to Canada. And we all know, in my personal opinion, this is what I believe, that this is temporary. You're going to visit Canada, and then you're going to eventually, even if you have, let's just give her the benefit of the doubt for a second, even though I don't want to, but I'll just give her the benefit of the doubt. Even if this woman has true intentions deep down inside to permanently move to Canada, I think that she will go back to visit him. That's what I believe. And this is a scam because of what I just said. It's not a permanent move to Canada. And I don't believe that you think so either, Chantal. You just need them to pay for your ticket because your parents don't want to pay for it, tired of paying for it, and you don't make enough money on YouTube to pay for that. Or what I truly believe is that she just wants to use all her money for something else, and she wants people on YouTube to pay for Canada. TikTok, Chantal. People like you always bring themselves down. The same thing with Amber. You scam people over and over again. There's going to be consequences. What you put out, you get back. Flash, who are still obsessing about matters that are not their business. So here's why it is people's business. You sell your life for profit. That is something that you yourself said years ago. You sell your life for profit. You know what's nobody's business? Something that people don't talk about. Like, a bunch of people don't talk about their private lives, so therefore it's not anybody's business. Do I think that she's still entitled to privacy? Technically, yes. But let me put it to you this way. I'll just use myself as an example. If I was selling my life for profit, I wouldn't be complaining, oh my God, I need privacy. I am a traveling Canadian because I'm a Canadian citizen. As a citizen, I am allowed to travel as long as I want to anywhere in the world and still keep my Canadian status. I also have ties to Canada. Still still, so yes, legally I am Canadian. I am also soon returning, so I only spent a couple of months here so far since my last visit. That's actually irrelevant, but nice try. Citizens and permanent residents are different also. I am a citizen, therefore, I am allowed to use services such as PayPal while traveling because it is a Canadian account. I am in Syria on an extended visa. It doesn't matter if I called where I'm staying our house. There are no legal ties making blah, 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 blah. Blah blah blah. I get my money from Beirut, which does not have sanctions. Syria does. Blah 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 blah. Okay, this is just because look, she posted this. No, as a Canadian citizen, you do not need to spend a minimum amount of time in Canada to keep your status. Right, your status as a Canadian citizen. Nobody's saying that they're going to take away your Canadian citizenship from you, but look what a basic Google search will show you is really important. A Canadian citizen does not lose their citizenship for not living in Canada most of the time. Right. I don't know listen, here's what, let me tell you this. What the girls do is they don't actually respond to things that are being said most of the time. I mean, Amber's worse at this than Chantal. Chantal does respond to certain concerns sometimes, always with lies, but anyways. But in this situation, you're not going to lose your citizenship. But look, they can lose benefits like healthcare coverage and may be subject to Canadian income tax depending on their residential ties and the location of their income sources. To reestablish healthcare eligibility after an extended absence, a waiting period, typically around 90 days. Why am I bringing this up? Look, I can just tell you what I've only observed on YouTube, and it's just like a basic regular person's opinion. You have not lived in Canada for the majority of the past, I believe, 2 to 3 years? You go there for like a week and you run back. My point is, you shouldn't be allowed to keep your free healthcare. That's what I think. I think you are allowed to keep your citizenship. Legally, you are. But healthcare, you're going to have to wait 90 days. Cutie. My point here is this. I wouldn't have even brought this up because I don't care. Chantal, you always do this to yourself. You bring up things that maybe one or two people said and you're like, nice try. See, like, here's the thing, Chantal. Do you know why this is all happening to you? Why you have such backlash? It's because of how you treat others. If you treat people better and you behave better and you become a better person every day, people treat you better in return. What a concept. So I don't have to know a lot about this topic to understand common sense. Yeah, she can. Bottom line in this situation is that you shouldn't be able to keep your, insurance when you first come back. You know what she first does when she first comes back? Definitely doesn't wait 90 days. She runs off to see all the doctors. Anyway, Chantal, you know what I think? I think that you are one of these people that never got along with other people because you think somehow that you are better than they are. Oh, and this is one of my favorite things that she posted on her community page. They don't sound like they are breaking up. What exactly do you want from us? Is there a single universal component for when people decide to separate? Do we need to scream and shout and not like each other? I've said numerous times that it is an amicable separation. We are not separating because we fight too much or don't love each other. It's because the bees is calling and I want a Villo 2.0 era. We want different things in life. I don't believe that at all. First of all, my personal opinion, you could feel free to disagree in the comments and dislikes down below. So I just think he's just not that into her, as I've said for years now. And I think that what he wants from a wife and a relationship, she doesn't want. So you knew what he wanted in the beginning. Why did you even bother going there? Because she said that they've been having these conversations in one of her live streams. Look, here's the bottom line. I just think that he broke up with her. And the reason that they are in such jovial, amazing moods is because it was always a business arrangement. Yes, he technically broke up with her, but it was always a business arrangement. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody be saying in the comment section. When people break up, even if it's amicable, people are not spending more time with each other and loving each other and so happy. Please, okay? It was always a business arrangement, and also, he's just not that into you. So while I was editing this video, Chantal announced that she couldn't go on this trip, that she was having panic attacks. Then she started trashing Salah, saying that he always tells her that she's rude, and basically they have two different ways of living. She didn't want to really go because it was going to be 16 people in two vehicles, and you know what? Okay. I think that she's like raging against him online for effect. I do. I mean, obviously their marriage is fake in my opinion, and obviously he's just not that into you. That's true because it was a business arrangement. But I think the reason that she's raging against him and she needed to start this drama. Okay, she never went to that trip that I talked about earlier in the video. So I think the reason that she is like raging against him online is because she wants people to feel that they're really breaking up. She wants it to be more believable because a lot of people don't believe her, right? Okay. I don't think that she would have just randomly come on and raged about it. Now, as far as her not going on this trip, look, everybody needs to know their limitations. I think that Chantal, honestly, listen, I think that some people just need to get a retired person that maybe sold all their wild oats and just wants to lead a quiet lifestyle. And I think that Chantal, if she gets another guy, she does need that because Salah is not the one for her. First of all, he's just not that into you. Second of all, this has been a business arrangement. Third of all, you don't need to do videos saying, oh, what was I thinking? She actually made a live stream saying, what was I thinking? Was I in reality? I'm not even in reality. I'm not being realistic about like my lifestyle in Salah. Right. And people told you this for 3 years. Right. And when you were running around between Syria and Kuwait and Canada, not once did it occur to you that this is not the average thing that everybody does. Look, maybe you could say she did it for love, if she did do it for love, but she did it for status, that she was a married woman. She didn't do it for love. She doesn't love him and he doesn't love her. Now, I'm going to show you something small that should indicate how you can't trust a word that she says. Okay, here's a community page post. Hi guys, so I won't be able to live stream until I get back to Canada. I can still do videos, but the internet is just too choppy here. I'm not sure when I will be able to return. I have 2K from donations now and about 800 to 1K in super chats coming end of October. If you would like to contribute, isn't that sad? Whoever gave her super chats, when she finally shows you that she's scamming you and eventually runs back to see him, or they meet up in another country, or she scams you in a different way. I just want to make this very, very clear. Y'all can find out that this was a scam in a different way without her just returning. Just remember that, okay? If you would like to contribute, blah, blah, blah. Okay. She wrote that she cannot live stream until she gets back to Canada, as she was live streaming. The screenshot says it all. I screenshotted this 5 hours after she wrote it while she was live. You said you're not going to be able to go live while in Syria, and you went live. This is a small thing. And she says, I'm impulsive, but it's not being impulsive. It's being a pathological liar. Does anyone really believe that this woman won't live stream every single day until she goes to Canada? Okay, so then she's saying that she booked her ticket to Canada, okay? And of course, she's abandoning her cat, Julia. If anyone here really believed that she was going to take Julia with her, come on now. Hello. So after talking more with Salah, the guy that's just not that into you, I've decided that it is in Julia's best interest for her not to go through the health risks and significant stress to travel 30 hours to Canada with me. I am very, very upset. But her being part, whatever type of cat, risky for her, even for normal cats, whatever. Julia is particularly super stressed when traveling to the point where I am just too paranoid and worried for her to risk it. I have a serious question. Why does Amber and Chantal constantly put such stressors on their animals? If you guys want to do reckless things like Amber going to Wisconsin and losing Rarity and Chantal constantly traveling, that's great. Go ruin your own lives. Stop involving your pets. Salah is a great cat dad, and she loves him very much. He always takes excellent care of her, and she will be okay with him here on his huge property chasing olives outside. I will miss her, but at least I know she is safe with him and I can video chat with her. That's going to end very soon because if you guys are breaking up for now, he will be with another woman. He's not going to be video chatting with you. And if you guys are not breaking up, then you're never going to go back to Syria. You're going to meet up with him in a different country. And no, she's not being abandoned. That is exactly what is going on. She's being abandoned. She's still with one of her owners whom she loves very much. Let's talk about Chantal abandoning cats. First of all, a lot of you may not know this. Chantal had a cat named Aries, a kitten that she, you know, adopted in 2017. I'm going to link the video. Somebody had made a video about this and I'm going to link it down below. She literally says in this old video from 2017 that she did not realize that the kitten was going to have like medical appointments and get shots and need cat food. That's what she literally said in that video. Go and watch it. I'll link it down below. Okay. And she had already had other cats. So she abandoned the cat Aries She abandoned this kitten and brought her back and said it was it was impulsive, it was stupid. How many times does she always say, oh, I'm impulsive in this? Then we all know the story of how she abandoned BBJ and Sam. And now she's abandoning Julia, but not before she abandoned the cat that she adopted when she came to Canada. Look, some people just shouldn't have animals. And that's okay. It's okay to say, like, I just shouldn't have animals because I have a busy life or I emotionally can't handle it. That's okay. No judgment there because, look, animals are probably not for everybody to take care of. You never took your pets to the vet. You said you didn't take BBJ and Sam to the vet. How many cats are you abandoning? You mark my words. At some point when she's in Canada, if she chooses to stay, she will adopt another cat. You can come back to this video when she chooses to do so. It may not be right away, but at some point she will. So Aries, BBJ, Sam, the cat from Canada that you adopted in that week that you were there, and Julia. 5 cats that deserved better. Honestly, absolutely unacceptable. This is so weird to me. A person that sees that she cannot take care of cats and causes harm, where BBJ had, urinary tract infections and had certain things stuck to her and just was living a miserable life and didn't get her claws, trimmed, nothing, her nails trimmed. And Chantal is continuing on with the history of mistreating cats, adopting them, abandoning them, adopting them, abandoning them. They're not like getting a chair or a pair of jeans or like buying a painting you don't like and buying a new one. They're living beings. It's pointless with her. She'll do it again because there's no consequences. All right, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Check out this other video that's popping up here on a similar topic, and I will see you next time. Bye. Cat. Sir, do you know Joe the legal weasel? Tell the truth now.